Hello guys, today I will be showing you how to make this metal looking material in Substance Designer, and so let's begin. So first off, it is a big graph, but most of this is repeated work, so don't worry about that. It's gonna be rather simple actually. And before we even start, there will be a free download down in the description, because I won't be covering all of the stuff that's happening in the material, just so you can follow along better, or if you learn better that way. So let's start. For the shape, the shape I kind of just made, like it's artificial, but you can do whatever shape you like a brick generator, maybe even. The real thing is on actual, how it's called, on the actual metal material. Like what you can do is a tile sampler as well. Okay, not like that. Tile sampler, and maybe choose some different values, something that fits you, use a square or anything really. So if I were to do this, now there is a bit of stuff that we don't want happening in the material, but that's more or less it. So I created this shape because I looked it up online and it looked nice. And after that, we are going straight into this map. So how is this map achieved? Is by doing this rather weird way of getting a noise. And this is repeated, as you can see, many times throughout the material. So let me show you how it's made. So basically you get a shape that is just a small circle, disc, and then go through non-uniform blur grayscale into auto levels to bring out the levels up a little bit. And then we do a bunch of directional warps with clouds too, as you can see. And we do it multiple times, and it creates all these weird and interesting patterns. We do transformation 2D to kind of center it, as you can see. And then, using a tile sampler, we splatter it all around. And using auto levels, we kind of bring out all those values a bit better. So that's how we create that really, it sort of looks like a brush or something else. I did a little bit of a blur, so it doesn't look as hard, but it's somewhere I didn't even do it. So there are places that I did a really slight blur, just so I can play around with it. And here is the map, and that we're blending with the original pattern. And then we're adding a bit of fractal sum, just so we can have a bit of noise on the whole thing. And then we are heading straight to coloring. Because this is a flat material, we don't really need a lot of normal map work, height map work. At least I didn't want it in this particular material. And then we use a gradient map. I have a few set up here, but almost any work. So everything can be a nice gradient map. You can experiment with it. I just like this one. I added some light variation, so a bit of light and a bit of dark. It's very, like, you won't even see it that much, but it's there. It's done using a histogram scan and a blur HQ with this noise. So see, I'm gonna be using these noises, but in different ways a lot throughout the material. And I do some color variation with the same thing, as you can see, just now grabbing it from this one. And then more color variation, so I added a lot of these, and these are all from different noises I made. Here I added these white borders. As you can see, it's a bit hectic here, but I will show you what I mean by that. So what I wanted is to create to create a noise that's gonna go around these tiles, so that there are some black spots in the middle of the tile, as you can see here, 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 and that's how it converted to this. See how there is a lot of dark here, and when I added the white, it has these black spots here and there, and that's exactly the thing I wanted. And then I added these orange borders. Basically the same thing, just I wanted to separate a few tiles, so just to make them a different color, as you can see. So some are black, some are orange. So how I did that is basically created another variation of this, put it through the same stuff, and then I grabbed my original pattern, put it through flood fill, and flood fill to random, and then histogram scan to bring out some of the values, as you can see. And here I inverted the grayscale and multiplied it with this, so we create this mask with only a few of the actual sort of tiles in the pattern. And with that we created a bit of variation. And here I did the same, just a bit more color, as you can see, just a small color variation in here, adding a bit more orange to it. And then another variation of these orange borders, so basically hitting different tiles, is this one here. And I did the same thing, just with the two other noises here, and basically just adding a bit color variation, as you can see, the same thing we did for this one. And then edge lining. So how I did this is a bit more specific, but we used the same noise, put it through a multi-directional warp grayscale, and with that we get this sort of very distorted map. And we blend these two together on subtract to get the actual edges, because that's what we are aiming for. And then a mask with a blur HQ. So we don't want it to be this hard, because if it is, it gives out a very rough feel, as you can see. So we get it here, and it gives out that soft feel that we want. So that's how I created the mask for it and added the lines, and as you can see, that's a really noticeable change. Without it, it would look a bit bland. So let's bring that back in. And adding horizontal lines. So I wanted to add a bit more depth to the material, and just made a bit of a variation of color here with an HSL from this. So nothing special, just a bit more light and a bit more well, in this case it's just a bit more light in the color, but I wanted something brownish, and this is the map that gave the best result. And I basically did add linear dodge with directional lines, and this is how it ended up. So it adds that kind of depth to the whole material. Another way you can do this is probably using Perlin noise and using a I forgot the name of the node. I think it's maybe it's probably 3D. There is some 3D. I forgot about it. Anyways, sorry about that. Maybe we'll do it in another video. But basically what I'm doing now is just adding a bit more grunge to the whole thing. So with this map, I used the blend and multiplied it with a grunge map to create this sort of grunge, and pulled out this grunge map to use as an alpha for this, and quite subtle, but the change is there, and I liked it. And now we added the border lines. So I didn't like that these were only black, these lines that are not the actual tiles. So I wanted to add something beneath them. And what I did here is I grabbed the original shape and did slow blur grayscale with Gaussian noise, and then did invert grayscale to make actually the lines. And after that we did a bit of Gaussian with subtract and a bit of Berlin with subtract, so we don't get it everywhere, we don't get the effect everywhere. And I liked how it looked, so I just use it here as an alpha and a uniform color, and that's it. So this is our albedo. And what I did for the other maps, I used the grayscale conversion and with auto levels to bring the levels up a bit. Did blend with the border lines, because as you can see, this is white and I don't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be a hole there for the normal map, because it's that's very important, because it would be looking like it's sticking out when in reality it really should be a bit lower. And I did a histogram range for roughness and metallic maps, ended up looking really good, and normal to HQ from normal to height. Basically that's a height map. And ambient occlusion, I think, yeah, I decided I would leave it out blank. I didn't like the way it looked, but you can increase it probably a little bit to make it have a bit more depth. I didn't like the look, I like the look more without it, but it's up for a debate actually. But yeah, basically that's it, and if you want more tutorials like this, be sure to subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful day.